Hello. I accepted only the necessary cookies. But stuff still happened. So what's up? Medical science. They did it again. Those crafty fuckers. So long COVID sucks, right? And every time you get COVID, you have an increased chance of getting long COVID. It's not great. Long COVID can have a whole bunch of different symptoms, and not the least of which is brain fog, which also happens during normal COVID. I can say for sure that's a symptom. It sucked. It wasn't great. I didn't like it. But scientists found why that happens. Neat. It happens because the blood vessels in your brain are leaking. Not neat. They did MRI scans of long COVID patients, both with and without brain fog, and what they saw was that the patients who had brain fog had decreased integrity in the blood vessels in their brain, and they were leaking. Yeah. Now, you don't need to freak out. It's not like brain bleed bad. Like, it's not like that. But it's also not great. But it's also kind of good, because now we know what it is and we can potentially treat it. So thank you, science folks, for doing that research and making that discovery. I was busy, so I couldn't do it. So thank you for picking that one up. Yeah. Weird. Crafting policy based on misguided religious beliefs is a bad idea. Alabama's Supreme Court has ruled that embryos are people, like whole-ass people with rights. Embryos, as in a small clump of cells that, more often than not, don't make it. Embryos, which are generated in fertility clinics during IVF treatments, and often need to be discarded for various mundane reasons. With this ruling, fertility clinics in Alabama are not sure how the hell they can continue going on. They basically need to be able to create a bunch of embryos so that one of them might be viable. And so they're like, well, if these are people, if this is murder, we can't exist. To be clear, this is not an abortion clinic. This is a clinic that's trying to help people have babies. Make them. And they are now suffering because of the weird religious rights fascination with stripping all of your bodily autonomy. A veritable cornucopia of old white men have been thrilled with this decision. For no reason. Like, for nothing. They are simply walking around incapable of bringing their wives to orgasm, and so they're mad at the world. Alabama Senator and sentient raisin Tommy Tuberville stated his emphatic support for this decision. He said, and I quote, "We need more kids. We need people to have an opportunity to have kids." Upon being informed that IVF treatment is explicitly a thing that exists to give people the opportunity to have kids, he said, and I quote, "Well, I haven't studied the issue. I'm not here to say that your religion is invalid. I'm not here to say that you can't have your religion, you can't benefit from it, it can't generate community, and it can't give you guidance in life. But what I am saying is that it is unacceptable to attempt to use the cudgel of the state to enforce the rules of your religion on other people. That's fucking gross. Stop it." Last week, ChatGPT had a bit of a crisis. Not like an existential crisis of it gaining sentience and questioning reality. It's not capable of doing that. It just shit the bed. Out of nowhere, GPT-4 just started to spit out absolute nonsense in response to prompts. Like, just completely unhinged shit. Non sequiturs, just repeating words, absolute gibberish. Kind of hilarious, actually. Now, as a reminder, any tech person outside of the AI brosphere would tell you, AI, as we see it right now, is basically just fancy autocomplete. It is the functional equivalent of tapping the middle suggestion on your phone's keyboard constantly, and then just sending someone what came out of that. Only instead of just training it on your text messages, it's trained on everyone's text messages and stolen information. But just like any piece of software, it is capable of just bugging the hell out. And so recently, it started saying things such as, quote, "Lift off the gather and vindicate the things to be seen as centermosts for the meat." Cool. Very artificial. Very intelligent. And so for a day, it just kind of shat the bed continuously, just giving people gibberish answers. Anyway, let's make that control our dating life, because Match Group, a tech conglomerate that owns Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, Match.com, and like 12 other dating apps, has just signed a deal with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT into their company. They got themselves 1,000 enterprise licenses, and they're gonna equip their workforce with this technology, and they're telling you, straight up, you don't need to work. Here's a quote from their announcement. Quote, "Don't worry, we're not letting all this excitement get to our heads. Our love story with AI comes with a promise of responsibility. Think of it as a prenup with technology." I hate that. Now, I want to be clear. AI has been in your dating app for quite some time. In fact, AI has been powering a lot of the things that we just use daily for the better part of the last decade. It's just not this generative AI. AI has been helping with medical research, it's been doing data processing, all sorts of stuff for quite a while. We've been taking these neural networks and training them to solve a specific problem. But this isn't that. GPT and generative AI, as we see it right now, is trying to be general purpose. And because of that, everyone's trying to figure out how to use it, whether or not they actually need to. And the answer is they don't need to. So where before an AI was simply just a computer that was told like, hey, here are some patterns, can you help find more of these patterns? And it was like, yeah, I can do that. Now it's, hey, computer, can you tell me what to think? And the computer's like, all right, here's just like a jumble of a bunch of words, maybe? Does this look good? Do you like this? Do you love me? So is ChatGPT about to help you come up with a better opener? Probably not. I don't know if anyone is capable of that. My advice to you, as always, is to simply just text someone, hey, works every time. Lightning round. Capital One is trying to buy Discover, the financial network, for $35 billion. If I could just get one of them billions, there's 35 of those billions. Can I get one of them? Here's the weather. The CEO of Tumblr is in hot water for a whole bunch of reasons that I'm not gonna get into the specifics, but I do wanna read one thing. Long story short, he pissed off the trans community on Tumblr, which is Tumblr. And part of it was because a user posted what he said was a credible threat against his life. Here's what they posted. The offending post said that they hope that, quote, the CEO dies a forever painful death involving a car covered in hammers that explodes more than a few times and hammers go flying everywhere. Gotta watch out for those credible death threats. In an attempt to get ahead of the impending cryptographic apocalypse that is quantum computing, Apple is upgrading the security of iMessage encryption. That was a really, technologically dense sentence. But it was real. CPAC happened again. It's the conservative, convention, and they just openly hosted Nazis. People who were like, yes, I am a Nazi. Not even trying to hide it. They were welcomed with open arms. Shocking. Another famous woman on the internet had more deepfake nudes circulating on Twitter. Weird how that keeps happening. Wisconsin in the US has signed a new legislative map that's going to reduce their extreme gerrymandering a smidge. Vice News has announced that they're stopping that. They're not going to post on Vice.com anymore. Just gone. Elden Ring's DLC comes out in June 21st, 2024. I want it. There's a measles outbreak in Florida, which is not shocking because the Surgeon General of Florida advocates against vaccinations. Just so you're aware, the average measles patient infects 18 people. So Google's AI was trying a little too hard to be inclusive, and when people were asking for imagery of Nazis, it rendered black women as Nazis. Reddit is filing for an IPO after all the dumb bullshit they've been pulling, and as part of their filing papers, it came out that they paid their CEO $193 million in compensation last year. Reddit is not profitable, to be clear. A man checked the Powerball website and saw that he had won, only to find out later on that the numbers that were posted on the website were not right. They were inaccurate. And now he's suing. And finally for today, Cape Town, South Africa recently had a horrifying smell overtake their whole city. And they were looking for the source, checking the sewers and everything. Turns out it was a boat that was docked at the harbor filled with cattle. Which, haha, funny bad smells, but also animal abuse. Don't do that. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you're bringing to the picnic that you said you would come to. I'm holding you accountable. My name is Endeavorance. I'll be back on Thursday. Take care and be well.